Hi guys, and welcome to episode 7 of the Spfl RTG on FC25. This episode, as you can see, we've got a change of formation. We went from the 4-3-3, I think it was bracket 2, to the 4-4-2, and having to say there's been a bit of improvement in the results since we changed formation. I think I'm getting on with this formation a lot more. And as you can see, with the change of formation, we do have our very first non-Celtic or Rangers player in the starting 11, which is Lauren Shankland. Of course, one of the goals towards the end of the year is to get as much club representation as possible during the year, even having all 12 clubs represented at some point. As you can see with the new evolutions, we can't do either unless in the next few days they release an SPFL Foundations, which they didn't do last year, which leads me to want to have a bit of a discussion about the state of content. So I'm going to have some gameplay in the background of me doing the Dyson Maida and the Tom Lawrence Evos in Rush. It'll be out of order. It's just to have in the background while we discuss basically the state of the game. Apparently, the reason that we haven't had any proper new Evos is because the new Evos that they've tried to implement with the stat limitations have been broken. So they've just released these absolutely garbage Evos. They said at the start of the year that they were going to try and make Evos as accessible as possible, and then they released two Evos back to back that you can only put a certain handful of players into. It's just not good enough from a content standpoint, and not just the evolutions. For someone who's doing an SPFL RTG like myself, the actual teams that have been produced for the promos are just not good enough either. I can understand Team of the Week being real life performance based. Even then, though, a lot of the time, Team of the Week, we've had players in the past in the Scottish Premiership that have scored hat tricks and not received an inform that week because they just won't sell packs or whatever they have an excuse for. There's no inclusivity in terms of promos. I mean, count on one hand, how many teams outside of the top 5 leagues feature in promos, and it's mental. We've had the road to the final. Road to the knockout promo so far, 2 teams worth of it, and you have several players who feature for clubs that have had poor starts to their European campaign versus clubs that are actually inside the qualification places after 3 match days at the time of recording that have nothing. For example, if Rangers and Hearts were to get wins tonight or positive results, that would see all 3 Scottish clubs in Europe in the qualification places for the next round of the European fixtures. And as it stands, and none of them have any European cards. The Total Rush promo, no Scottish representation in that. And Trailblazers being the next promo, I've seen some leaks so far for the first team. No Scottish Premiership players as it stands. To be honest, in terms of the start to the season that players have had, you're probably looking... I mean, obviously we know that Lennon Miller's had a good start to the season, but I doubt he would get selected for it. You're probably looking at a Celtic or Rangers player, if that, and it was probably going to be the likes of Nicholas Kuhn or Liam Scales if that was going to be the case. However, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it when we see it. We have apparently the Dynasty promo coming up, and the only hope that we've got in terms of present players really getting into the team is Schmeichel, if they decide to give Casper and Peter Schmeichel promo cards for it, and Hadji, if Yanis Hadji and Georgie Hadji get a promo card for it as well. I can't really see anybody else at the moment. If there is, let me know. But in terms of the past, obviously, if Larson and his son get a card, then fair enough. But then that brings me to another problem, which is the repetitiveness in the promos as well. So it's been pointed out on social media so far about how the Total Rush promo essentially was a copy-paste of Trailblazers last year. It's just mind-boggling that they just keep... There's a guy that's coming up with the content at EA Sports that's released those 2 horrid evolutions that we got, Not to mention the content that's coming out at the moment. And he's getting paid probably a lot of money to be extremely uncreative. And look at that. That second Total Rush game, it's full of evos. People like doing evos, EA. Please, even if there's an issue with the stat increases of some, doesn't stop you releasing other evos. Going back to the old formula, just release stuff that can actually be done, not boring evos like we got. Sorry for the wee rant, but it's frustrating when you're doing a series like this, and even out with it, that the content is just so stale. People online are sick of it. Something needs to change with it. We need representation for leagues outside the top 5 leagues. Yes, people could argue that it won't sell packs, but I would argue that it would. Come team of the season, why can't EA produce a team of the season for every single league? It would sell packs because people would love to buy them. Anyway, moving on. As you can see, we have added more to the checklist. The entire Hearts squad has now been purchased at the time of recording, of course, and the entire Motherwell squad has been purchased, as you can see, during this as well. So what that now leaves us in for a position is that we have 5 clubs left to go in terms of purchases for the entire team as it stands, without any special cards and stuff like that. If special cards do get released, if they get their finger out, that is, later on, we will need to add on to that as we go along. Now, I've decided to do it a tiny bit earlier, but we are now going to spin the wheel for our next set of badge, kits and managers, which will be in the next video. So, as you can see, with the first spin, we do end up landing on Dundee United, so we'll be using the Dundee United badge come the next video. The only clubs left in the wheel are the ones that weren't spinned last time, so there will be 4 clubs left at the end of this one. The home kit is going to be the Motherwell home kit. Now we spin the wheel for the away kit instead, and it lands us on the Aberdeen away kit, which means the final spin of the wheel takes us to the manager. Unless it lands on Ross County, then we'll have to change stuff up because I cannot find Don Cowie in game. However, the wheel does land on Rangers, which I know it was green. Apologies, Rangers fans. It just happened that way, which means we'll use Philippe Clement, which means the next spin of the wheel will be the 4 remaining clubs that have not been spun yet. They are guaranteed to be our next set of kits, managers, badges, all sorts. So, come the next video as well, as you can see, the highlights that were shown in this video were to just show you a wee bit of evil progression that we were getting on with. The Total Rush ones was to advance to the next stage of Dyson Maeda and Tom Lawrence, and the game of the evil friendlies, which the guy quit on Golden Goal, by the way. I encourage that massively. Golden Goal is a lovely thing that gets done. I've been doing it the whole time as well. Please, if you go 1-0 down, just quit. It gets the games done a lot faster. But those evos will be completed come the next episode as well. And if EA do decide to release any evos before the next episode, then we will have those as well. Off camera, I have qualified for the next weekend league as well. That will be uploaded on the channel. That will be the next video. It will. I'll probably think about whether or not I'm going to do the first 5 games and then show you the whole highlights of the weekend, just goals that we scored instead of all the goals we were conceding and stuff like that, unless we concede a particularly good goal or a particularly terrible goal or something like that. But I think I'm going to do first 5 games, then highlights, and show you where we ended up at the end of the weekend. With the new formation and the way that I've been playing in game, I am very confident that I'm going to finish better than the 5 wins that we ended up on last time. I think I might cry if we end up worse than that. But if you did like the video, please leave a little like and subscribe. Obviously, we've got the new subscribers, and we've had a lot of viewers recently. I don't know how much of that is down to the football reactions that we've been doing. Later today, I will be posting the reactions for the Hearts game in the Europa Conference League and the Rangers game in the Europa League later tonight as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.